here. One more flopper, and these guys are still in zone too early, but has the angle. Julex gets it all the way in the end game. Same zone from yesterday. They win it out. They're looking glorious today, Sancho.
They have to feel good. I know they probably look at the VOD to see like, yeah, man, we had hype this many times. If we just clean up a couple of things, we just hold on, we get a couple, be a little bit more aggressive, get some healing, stomp out the low ground, we could win more games. And they just got the first victory out here in day 2, Shia.
Yeah, but 4 CR, so many low ground games going down the back zone. It's uncharacteristic. That was a very, very tough game. You have to toss it back to break it down and show us what we did.
Okay, all right, Squeezy, Turlet, Jerky, high ground king. You know, if you ever look high ground, if there's a team up there, it's them. That's it. It's gonna be them forever. Boy, fantastic second game on the day. And I like how the captain kind of shows up. They're looking for that redemption arc, right? Like yesterday, I don't even care about yesterday. Today, we're gonna show up big.
Yeah, and I think like that storyline is so true for indeed reason to deal no Riley as well, right? You got to think winning that first game, and then it looked like it was going to be their game 2 again. Taking height so early in that 5th zone, they committed so much to it, but again, it ended up being a little bit too much because Queasy, their team is so good at focusing high ground. We've seen this all through yesterday. I'm trying to think if there was a game where they haven't been on height ever in the history of them playing tournaments at this point.
Yeah, literally the whole day of yesterday, it was literally like, how's the weather down there, boys? You know, it was them up above time and time again, but they weren't able to convert it into victory royales a lot of the time, and that was a real issue. You know, we know this is how they play. You look at Queasy and Trulex historically throughout multiple Fortnite seasons, they opt to play high ground. This season, right, Jerky's been a spark for them. You saw Jerky when they were taking out, he took the Germans down, right? No Riley, they'll wipe them out, you know what I'm saying? And from there, it was really great play, and they held out height, and they was able to convert into a win. More of these, and they might sneak into contention, guys. I'm calming down a bit, but it's possible. It's always possible.
Look, Fortnite's taught us, right? Anything is possible. It just depends on how you approach that end game. So let's actually talk about this end game coming out of last game, game number 1, because we saw a little bit of a heal off that was a little bit of a flub.
Yeah, there was a little bit going on here. If you remember game back to 1, Thomas and Nas on high ground, very similar to this last game we watched with Queasy on high ground, setting up the heal potential here with Reason down below on the low ground. Now, one of the things we want to keep an eye out is, look, Thomas HG's just taken a tick to zone right here. If you notice, his HP has gone down to 90 at this point, right? No longer at 100. He has the medkit in his inventory. This means he is able to actually use the medkit to stay alive a little bit longer in the zone. So notice he keeps going forward, but this is where a fatal mistake comes out, right? Next thing, you notice, again, after harvesting that, 2 builds. 2 builds remaining only. So this is also why Anas has to drop down, because he has absolutely 0 here. So he uses those 2 builds right here, and notice the positioning. He's at the back rather than being at the front here. Will this allow Reason on low ground not to be able to see him? But the issue is he's too close to the edge of the zone down at the bottom here, which means when he starts popping his medkit, I mean, we all saw how unfortunately it ended up going for him. So now moving down to Reason's perspective on low ground, this is a thing of beauty. This is what we love to see from a fighter like this. He gets an ass dropped into his box and hits a huge shot. But this edit that he's made on the right-hand side here is beautiful, because he has a right-hand peek on Anas, who is on the other side, and Anas can't see him at all. And this manages to pick up a beautiful shot for him. And this, look, 5 HP, and the elimination goes through. And then we said, playing on high ground with the medkit too far to the back with not enough time, and unfortunately he ends up being eliminated. But let's see how that last game also kind of transitioned onto these standings.
Gut wrenching finish there, Reese. Looking at the standings though, still on top of the board, Refsguard and Jetta and Mr. Savage. We got to watch them a bit, and they do look like, you know, they're having a decent day, but nothing yet that is comparable to what they did yesterday. The key thing to note here though is Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky shooting all the way up into second now, and they are closing that gap. Zeke, I hear the laugh, Zeke, but you know it. They are closing that gap. They are looking to try and become FNCS champions at the end of today.
Yeah, and it's looking like it could be not only them in the running though, because Rescard and Dress Savage, huge game for them. 4ZR, Taste and Nate too. Look at the difference between first all the way down till third, and we can't count out Hen, Janice, Chapix too. Look at how close all of these players are in the top 4 with 4 games remaining. And I must say, this is going to be an exciting. Teams right now are completely in the running.
This is only game 2. Look, you guys know that I stress. I feel the emotions. Don't do this to me. I mean, I'm down. Like, you know what? Let's keep making this a close competition to the very end. I'm super down. But once again, man, Queasy and his trio, I don't understand why people are just allowing them to be up there. Just stop them from getting high ground. They're going to close out games if you let this happen. But again, there's all these other trios, man. It's literally like there's a feeding frenzy on EU right now. And it's just like whoever finds that window to attack, they're going to close it out. But okay, I know, Zeke. I know, it's game time. We're jumping back into the action. This is game number 3 on the day, aka 9 of the series. Let's get into all the action.
In EU right now, it's all about the wins on showing it. Looks like Troy, Queasy, Jerky, they're doing it the best.
You gotta think about it. Aussie Antics on the NAE's broadcast, it says, you know, high ground get. So far, Queasy, Trulix, and Jerky are flipping that table, put it on the other side, and they're looking really solid here.
Seson and Savage game after game. They've now gone all the way down to 4th place. Used to be up top near 1st. Yeah, absolutely. Vortex Knight. I don't see Hikers just yet. That might have been the cost of the fight. Are going to be here surviving for this game and inhibiting Chapixen and Janice from getting any points.
The mental of our defending FNCS champions will be tested. They've had lost only 1 engagement yesterday, and every time they walked out of it, they got 2 victory royales with double-digit eliminations. The other times, they ran into Vidil. Vidil had a vendetta. Last season, Vidil's trio got taken out by Hens trio in that $100,000 box fight. I will never forget that call. That was an intense situation. And that's where it all came down to last season. We're getting closer and closer to the final game here out of the 12. This is just the halfway point here in day 2. And we're already seeing like all the Savage fans are High Chris fans right now, right? All the Hin fans are like the Tripper fans right now. They're all just hoping that the other can like drop spot fights go the opposite way. And wow, this is the FNCS.
Think about the ramifications of that off spawn. Now we have a trio in 30th place who's allowed to end up playing this entire game, right? Usually boxed out by a higher team. In terms of High Chris, Vortex, and Knight being in 30th, being inside an end game, you might not be thinking totally of the comeback. You might be thinking about, you know, taking more risks, going just completely for the win, not doing the most consistent and expected plays. It's gonna be dangerous for everyone else. This game might be a lot more trickier to navigate.
If they could break through that threshold, we're talking about thousands of dollars. So it's worth them to throw everything at the wall, throw that spaghetti, see if it sticks, because we're talking about a couple commas and zeros every time you move up that leaderboard.
Yeah, but they're going to be working against the grain, right? For people like Kiriachi, like 4-0 we saw right now. You talked about it, Sancho. Patience. They're waiting. They have a game plan and it's working. For trios like High Chris, like Vortex and Knight, they don't care about patience. This is the first time they get to play a game today, right? They're going to be going through fast. If there's a box fight they're not meant to take, they might just do it for the elims. That might change everything. We have a very dangerous trio playing this game.
And this trio right here, we haven't really shown a lot of love on the broadcast, but it just seems like every FNCS tournament, there's always a trio that, you know, when they do that drone panning shot in game, like, oh, hey, look, Stormy is